Oh, whoops. I refreshed my data and now it's all messed up. All right, let me give me a second to fix the screen here. Or not the screen, the chart. I refreshed my data and it sometimes moves my trend line. I like to refresh my data when I start the stream because I come back from a little break, and sometimes the data is a little bit off when the screen turns off and all that. There you go. All right. Happy Friday, everybody. I haven't had a chance to go through this part of the price action over here, so we'll get there. I'm going to zoom out for a second. KP, good to see you, fam. Good to have everybody here. Hope you're all doing well. Give it a second for everybody to get connected. Let me know in the chat, where are you watching from? Where are you watching from today? Let me know in the chat. I'm in Oregon, as always. Gonna get some incense going here. Got a little... New Jersey. Nice. I don't know if you know this, but that's where I'm from. I'm actually from New Jersey. I grew up there. I grew up in New Jersey, and I moved away 2000, let's see, what was it? January. It was like right at the beginning of 2008. Nice, John. Silicon Valley. I grew up right next to Asbury Park. I grew up right next to Asbury Park. How about you? Oh, nice. We got someone from Germany. That's cool. I've never been to Germany. I have been to the UK, but I have not been to Germany. I'd love to visit. Looks like a really cool place. What up? Good to have you here. Alright, so I'm going to start getting into the setups of the day, start talking about the price action here, what I see for the day, and then we'll go from there. I will say this. Oh, nice. So you live in Monmouth County. Yeah, that's the county that I'm from. That's cool. Yep, I was actually just there in September. I was there for a wedding in September. And then I was actually there the year before, or that same year, I was there at the very beginning of 2025 for another wedding for my brother. Up near Edison area. We were up near Edison that time. But yeah. So I was there in January and in September. I probably won't be back for a while, but yeah, I still got family there. All right, so we basically had a downtrend in the overnight. And if you zoom out and look at yesterday, and just in general, the last couple days, like this has been a pretty big sell-off yesterday. So yesterday was a pretty big sell-off. And then in the overnight, it sold off even more. And then it rallied today. And we are now above where we closed yesterday. And we're kind of working our way back up. Looks like maybe towards this area right here from yesterday. Kind of that 6,800 area. And I wouldn't be surprised to see us kind of reclaim that. So we'll see what happens there. Let me actually show you something real quick before we get into the regular price action. Hold on, I'm going to minimize my screen for a second. And then I'm going to show you this. Okay, cool. So I want to pull up the daily chart on TradingView. This is the daily chart of the ES. So every one of these candlesticks is a daily candle. I just want to show you this for a second because there's something interesting here. So if you look at where we're at overall, we had this crazy sell-off way back in April of 2025. And pretty much since then, we've been rallying to the upside. Now, there's been a couple of pullbacks, but mostly we've been rallying. I mean, if you look at these pullbacks, most of these pullbacks have been no more than like 3 days, maybe 4 days at the most, and then it kind of rallies. So we made our way to an all-time high in this channel. And the white line is the 21 EMA on the daily. And what happens? We close outside of the turquoise channel right here. Now, after closing outside of that channel, we get a little rally up. Now, if you draw it from over here, there's kind of this purple flatter channel that I drew. Now, we already got to close outside to move to a new high. But this is what's interesting, and I talked about this the other day, and that's why I'm bringing it up. We have a new high, and we have a pullback, and we actually have a first entry long right there above this red bar in this downtrend, but it closes outside, comes down, and it could very well form a very bullish higher low candle that would also be a second entry long. It may even close above the 21 EMA today, depending on how this goes. But we might actually get a two-legged correction in this flat channel, which could catalyst us to run to a new high. Now, to be fair, this down channel doesn't have a new low, but it's been so bullish that we've seen that. Like this down channel right there didn't have a new low. Some of these other ones in here didn't really get a new low either. So it would not surprise me to see a second entry long on the daily and then a move up to possibly a new all-time high. So I'm just staying aware of that. You know, that's just the daily chart. It's just something to be aware of. All right, let's close out of that. Let's get back into today. So we have this move down. Now I'm going to zoom in now so we can actually see the price action. So there's a few things to note here. There's some short-term trends that get close outside new lows. Like there's even a trend here. I don't have it drawn, but you can just see it with your eyes that there's probably some sort of like trend. I'm not going to draw it precise, but something like that. Close outside new low again. But it just kept doing this. So you have to consider the wider channel. Now, if you were here in the pre-market, there is a decent one here. You actually have a first entry, second entry short, third entry short. But really, this is a double bottom, more or less. So you just count this as a new low. And you look at this as a first entry, second entry short. That's a visual second entry short. First time testing the EMA, really bearish bar. That's a nice one. I know somebody in the paid community got that one. So that's all good. Mirka, good to have you here. I don't know if you've been on it or not, but I've been doing the I've still been doing live streams every day. It's just that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm only doing them with the school community. So those are on Zoom in the paid school community, which there's also that free trial. But Mirka, if you want to check those out, they're in there. So just letting you know. But yeah, good to be back here doing this on YouTube as well. So I've been doing YouTube streams on Mondays and Fridays, just so everyone knows the schedule. Mondays and Fridays, I go live on YouTube. On Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I still go live. I just do it on school only for the members. And so that's in here. You can see it here on the calendar. So you can see 8:30 on Monday, YouTube. 8:30 on Tuesday, Wednesday in school. Thursday, 9 a.m. in school. Friday, 9 a.m. on YouTube. That's how I've been doing that. So just want everyone to know that I've still been doing my daily streams. I just want everyone to be aware. But in school, and then I always post them in here. So if you go to the live coaching sessions, you'll see here in this course where I write free YouTube and then the school exclusive one. So I always put the recordings in here. So like here's yesterday's 52 minutes, you know, for example. Here's the day before, you know, 43 minutes. Here's the day before. We did a longer one that day, an hour and 21. So I'm still doing the streams. I'm just doing them in here. This is the one we're on right now. And so they're all in here in the classroom. You get access to that when you join. You get access to the Start Here course. You don't get access to the price action trading course until the trial ends. So you get that on like once your free trial, 7-day trial's over, you get access to that. And then of course, in here, we've been having some fun lately, posting our desk setups. This is my desk setup right there. And then of course, we're always posting the daily. The daily thread always has all the price action throughout the morning. This was a trade I took this morning, pre-market, that I'm going to talk about in a second. You can... Wait, hold on. I thought I had a screenshot. Yeah. So you can see here, I entered this one on a 10-contract setup. 8 contracts were set at a 9-tick target because of the ATR. You can see up here, the TP said to go for 9.41. We went for 9 ticks on 8 of the contracts. And then I tried to go for a runner, but didn't get a runner there. So that was first trade of the day. And so we have a whole discussion in here throughout the session. So check it out, everybody. Again, link is in the chat. It's in the description. Free 7-day trial, and then it's only $99 a month. And you can learn everything I do. So that was the trade right there that I just showed a screenshot of. So basically, we were coming up at this point. Now, at this point, I was looking at this like, look, we've made a new low. We're now in an up channel, and we actually get a swing up, first entry short, swing up, second entry short. So this looks like a failed second entry short. We did have some possible resistance up here. And so I had enough room to get the scalp before the resistance. Because you can see if you measure this from the top of this candle to there, it's 2.75 points. I was going for 9 ticks, so I was going to be 1 tick shy of that. So pretty much perfect. Oh, and I say 1 tick shy because I enter 1 tick above the signal bar. And then I want it to tick through, so I had plenty of room to get there. Not plenty of room, but just enough room to get there on the scalp. And so that was a good trade. So there you go. It then reverses and goes lower. Now at this point, I had the wide channel here. We end up coming up and going through it. We never quite make a new low on that big channel, but everything else had played out there. Even this short-term channel played out. So then we formed this rally, and I gotta say, this is unfortunate, but this is just how it is. This is just how it is. We did not really get a huge opportunity here to enter. And the reason is, when this thing switched gears, there's a second entry long here above the EMA, but the signal bar doesn't qualify for a good signal bar, and then you don't get a higher low. So no setup in here. Everything else is first entries, and then it just runs without you. There's not really any failures in there or anything. Finally here, you do get a first entry, second entry long, but you can't take that. The signal bar is somewhat bearish, but also it closes below the EMA. You have a down channel. You can't take that long. I think it works, but I don't think it's a smart idea. Then you get this one. It's not a higher low. It's just a bearish bar, so you can't take that one either. And then it just keeps going, and you just don't get any setups. Failures are happening too high. There is a second entry long here. I went back and forth on whether or not to mark this. There is a second entry long there. I'll mark it. I don't think it's a very wise trade, but I'll mark it. It's definitely risky. It is a down channel, close outside new low, and it has been pretty bearish, but you already just made a new high after the close outside of this channel. So it is risky to take this. You're below the EMA. I didn't take it. I'll mark it as a possibility, but I don't love it. Second entry short here, but not a good signal bar. We're kind of in a range now, and nothing really in here. There is kind of a test there, but not good. Comes down. Nothing in here. There's no good signal bar to go long. Nothing here to go short. The signal bar is bullish, so you just have to skip all this. And it just was really annoying. We were kind of just sitting here all day like, well, oh well. Just how it is sometimes. So finally here you get a first entry. Second entry long, but again, it's in a down channel. And then you do get this close outside new low. It is off of this level if you drew a trend line there, but you don't know that that's really going to bounce there. I just think it's too risky. It's not down to the lows. It looks like a range. You're kind of in the middle of a range. You can't take that. Now, it does come up to a short-term channel, and it gives you a close outside first entry. Second entry short with a lower high. You could take that, but it is risky. Then it runs higher. There is a second entry long here. I don't really think that there's anything there, though, with the down channel in play. Again, I think you got to skip it. And then it runs all the way up. Nothing in there. You do finally get one here. So now you have a close outside of that channel, and you're looking for a new low on the short-term down channel because these are making like almost equal highs. It might fail there, and so you get a first entry, second entry short. Lower high would be better here. You don't get it. Also, you don't have a new high, so you have to mark that as a yellow. But it's a decent one, and you actually get a runner on that one. Then you get a first entry, second entry long here. But I don't think you want to take that. It's still in the down channel. Gets a close outside new low. Now this thing runs higher again. There's a failure in here, but not where you really want one. Let's see what we got here. I need to draw. So I stepped away from the screen at this point, so I haven't charted any of this part of the price action out yet. This is all like one big leg down. You actually do have one here, I think. Let me just... Yeah. There is... I think you could take this one here. This is a higher low, second entry long. That one's pretty decent because you have this channel up. You just came off the highs. You come down, you get a first entry, you get this higher low. I think that that's actually a pretty nice one. So I would say that this is actually a really good setup. I wasn't here for this, but that is a nice second entry long. So if anybody got that, that's a nice trade. I was away from the screen at that point. Nice one there. You get this move down. Now, I will say, here, I didn't draw that tight enough. I meant to draw that a little tighter like that. Comes down, close outside, new low, second entry long. I meant to draw it like that, my bad. Decent one. You don't want to take a short here. I think you need to be patient now. It's pretty much bullish, so you got to just wait for longs now. Nothing in there. This is two sideways. Stay out of all that. Now we're at new highs. There is a second entry long here, but that's a neutral signal bar. You can't take that. There's a higher low forming, but it's nothing good in there. It's too sideways, too congested. So just got to stay out now and be patient. So there you go. That's the price action of the day so far. That's what we got. That's what we got. Yeah, Mirka, definitely, if you don't have the school app on your phone, just get it on your phone. And then, yeah, definitely check it out. We've been having a fun discussion in there. Like earlier today, or earlier we were doing this, we were doing the one where we were showing our desk setups and all that. So, definitely follow along in there. We're active in there every day, just like we used to be on Discord. But I got rid of Discord. The reason I got rid of Discord was because it was there was too many scammers impersonating me, and I was getting annoyed. And Discord wouldn't do anything about it. And I had people reach out to me several times who thought that I was DMing them, and it was a fake person. It wasn't even me. They show up in the comments on YouTube sometimes. They show up in Discord. But they don't show up in our paid school community, so that's the good thing. There are fake impersonators on school who try to be me as well, when I used to have a free community. So I used to ban them. But with the paid community, they don't bother. And if I saw anybody, I would just ban them. So you can always check to see if they are the owner of the community. Like if you go on school and you just click on... Here, wait, let me see if I can... Hang on, let me see if I can show you. If you click on anyone's profile, I was going to show you, but you can always see that it says owned by Nick, and it shows my community. It shows that I'm the owner of Freedom Algo on there. So that way you know if it's me. I don't want to pull it up, but I was just looking. So that's the cool thing here. But again, everybody, everything I do is in here. This is the About page. Goes through everything. You're getting 5 streams a week with me where I go over the daily price action, all the setups for the day. You're getting the complete course. You're getting daily support, personalized feedback, live chart updates throughout the whole session so you can follow along in real time. You get access to the Freedom Algo Ninja Trader Toolkit and indicators, the ones that you see on my chart up here with the ATRs and the better toolbar and everything. You get that after your trial period ends. Library of all these recorded coaching calls and breakdowns that you can access even during the trial. During the trial, you can join all the live streams, ask me questions, all that. So, really cool thing. Everything's in here. I always encourage people to share their wins and all that. So, check it all out, everybody. This is my music that we're listening to, by the way. I just have the quality turned down so it looks bad. Here, I'll show you. I think I recorded this in 4K. This is me playing some music. So, if you're curious, this is my music that we listen to on these streams. Just under my name, Nick Bannock. So you can check that out if you want. That way YouTube doesn't give us any copyright issues. I can play just my own music. So if you got questions, drop them in the chat, fam. Drop them in the chat. Yeah, for sure, John. Here, I'll show you, actually. I'll just show you. Here's the easy thing, John. Just go into school, go to community, click on daily price action and videos if you want to filter by category. This category is in a category that only I can post the actual initial thread of. And so I always have these. So they're just by date, right? These are where I always post my chart updates that you're watching throughout every session, right? So as you're watching in real time, so like here's the 14th, here's today, it always has the date, and then you just go through it. So basically, you can see every single one of these days. If you want to look at November 11th, you can. If you want to look at here, like let's just go to a random time. Let's say you want to look at October 21st, there it is. Chart updates are all in there. So as you go through, and you can see them all in there. You can see the timestamp at the bottom. So that will help you as well. I try to include the timestamps at the bottom of the screenshots most of the time. Some of them don't have it, but you'll still be able to get the idea. So there you go. So it's all in there. Everything's in there. And that's easy way to do it. And then also the other thing you can do is you can go to the classroom, go to the coaching sessions, and you can go back to previous days where I did my streams. Now I used to just do them all on YouTube. So I wrote it on here. Like before November 25th, important info, because before that I just used to do the streams all on YouTube, but I switched it so that YouTube's only Mondays and Fridays, and then the other price action reviews are in school only. So you can get those all in here. Like the previous ones will just be on YouTube for that. But I would say you can look at the chart updates all throughout in here. So there you go. All right, let me see what we got here. Yeah, you're welcome, John. You're welcome. Those are our daily threads where we're all chatting too. So hopefully you've been in there during the trading sessions. Yeah, we've just been using that instead of Discord. So you already know. I mean, that's where we're having discussion throughout the session. Way better than Discord anyway. All right. All right. Shidoku, you found my channel recently. You've been studying price action. You're curious if I feel like this strategy works across all assets and time frames. You've been trying gold. Yes, for sure it does. The only caveat is if you use a really tiny time frame, like a 5-second chart or a 15-second, it might not work as well because you've got so much fluctuation of movement. So so generally though, like as long as your time frame's large enough, like I use the 2000 tick chart, the 1 minute chart, it works really well. Anything bigger than that, it's good. It even works well on the 30-second chart on high volume assets. But yeah, it totally works on everything. I use it to trade longer term assets. If you were here earlier in the stream, I even showed how I was analyzing price action on the daily chart on the ES using the exact same methodology. KP, I'm not actually sure about that, but I'm sure that you can reset it. I'm sure you can reset it if you need to. I'm not actually sure if there's a way to do that in school, though. You might just have to reset it if that's the case. That way you can get the app. Because I do recommend having the app on your phone. It's way convenient. Because then you can watch all the course. You can watch the course on your phone. You can, follow through with some of the videos. You can just check comments. Like, I think it's good to have it on your phone and your computer to have the app. So, yeah, you might just need to reset your password if that's the case, KP. Mirka. Yeah, you can totally turn them on if you want to. You can even do, like what I do is I actually have most of the notifications not turned on. Here, I'll tell you my settings. Let me look on my other screen. Give me a second. Where is it? I'll tell you what I have it set up like. Where? Go to settings. Oh no. Notifications. Yeah, I have mine set up so that it doesn't actually even have, I don't even have the notifications on. Besides, obviously for me, I have, if like a new person joins the group, I have that on. But like, you don't even have to have them all on. You can, basically if someone tags me, I get a notification. So if you tag my name, even if you have your notifications off, if someone tags your name, you'll get it. But the thing is, basically throughout the trading session, just like we used to have Discord open, now I just have this open. We just have school open. And then that's how I do it. So basically, instead of Discord, we just have school open, and I just have the thread open. Like this was today's thread. I just have this open. And you can see throughout the session, we're chatting in here. You know, just like we used to on Discord. But it's organized into this day. Which I like, because then if we talk about something, you can search for it, and it will always bring you back to that day. So I do love that aspect of it. Really, really useful. So definitely do it. And Mirka, you'll see that we've been doing some more fun threads in there. Like we did one of like post your desk setup. So like check it out, because definitely stay involved. Definitely stay involved in there. Trying to make the community even better. All right. Let me see. Let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. Darkin, you asked, do I draw the trend line in a specific unchanging way, or do I use my intuition sometimes? Well, I do adjust it, right? So like here's an example. Like this was a trend line I drew from the low here. Whoops. This one's slightly off, but don't worry about it. This one was from the low, and then we got the close outside and it just kept going higher. I drew another wider trend line. So it's not really intuition. It's just like, what is the price action showing me? It's more like that. Sometimes I'll slightly widen things or slightly adjust them when I see stuff happening in real time. So it's really just a matter of experience of being a chart reader. No, Chemp, I do not just go for 1 point targets. I do it based on, you see up here how I have these 3 ATRs and then I have this TP. The TP is what I use. So this is based on the 14 period ATR right now, and it's adjustable. This is an indicator that I built that is available to anybody in my school community for NinjaTrader. So I go for the take profit based on the volatility that we're currently dealing with. So actually earlier I showed an example of a trade I took this morning. Here, I'll show you. Whoops. Clicked the wrong one. Right here, right? I don't know if you can see that very well, but this was a trade that I took this morning. And I was 10 contract, 8 contracts. I went for 9 tick target. I don't know if you can see that, but I went for a 9 tick target. And that's because if you see up here, the TP was 9.41 because it was early on and the bars were huge. So I went for a 9 tick target there. And then I left my runner way up here, but my runner ended up getting stopped out. And I did break even +1, because when I go for a bigger target like that, I'll go for break even +1. So hopefully that answers your question, and hopefully that makes sense to you. So if not, let me know. So right now I'd be going for 7 ticks on my TP, right? And then, and that adjusts throughout the session. So the only time 1 point is the smallest I'll go for. So the only time I'm going for 1 point is when the ATR is around a 2. But right now the ATR is higher, so the bars are bigger. So that's part of how I manage my risk and account size and all that. Yeah, I mean, this one, and I marked it yellow because it was overall bearish here. But the reason I was interested in this was that if you look at this down channel, just visually, I knew that we had a close outside and a new low and even a second leg down. This looks like 2 legs here, basically. If you just draw this, this looks like a 2-legged correction to a new low. I think it almost is exactly that. It actually is that to the tick. It looks like 2 big legs down and then a reversal. And it's above the EMA now, and this bounces right off the EMA in a little up channel. So I was thinking we were going to grind our way up, maybe to up here. But I was worried about these resistance here, and we had room to the resistance. So I was thinking we'd at least come back and test the level. Whether we break through and keep going or reverse, I didn't really care. I just knew that we were going to come back and test the level there, because it was going to trap all the shorts. So hopefully that makes sense. Jay, yeah, the stops go 1 tick above or below the bar the signal bar. So like when I go long here, I go long 1 tick above the bar, and my stop loss goes 1 tick below the bar. That's how I do that. If I go short over here, I go short 1 tick below the bar, and my stop loss goes 1 tick above the bar. That's how it always goes. That makes sense? Pretty straightforward. Yeah, you're welcome, John. You're welcome. Thanks for the question. All right, let's go to the current price action here. See what we got. See what we got. Hey, I'll be back in a minute. My partner just woke up. I just want to go say good morning. Be right back. All right, I'm back, everybody. I'm back. I was just saying that the dog got in trouble this morning because when I took the kids to school, he got into the trash in the bathroom like a black bear. Shredded it all over the place. I'm telling you, my dog is he is a black bear incarnate. All right. All right, John, you asked. Let's see. By the way, everybody, if you're here, please smash up the likes. We only got 7 likes right now. That is pretty abysmal for how many people are here. So hit that like button. See if we can get to, let's see. What should we set our goal for today? What should we set our goal for? Here, let's do a poll. Oh, whoops. I had the chat messed up. My bad. I think I might have missed some. Let me go back here. I had the chat thing messed up. All right, let me just make sure that I didn't miss one. Haha. All right, I did. I missed a few comments. My bad. I'm trying to fix it now. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I accidentally had I had a setting on that was only showing me top comments and not all comments. So I'm just going back to make sure I didn't miss any. It was just an accident. I didn't do it on purpose. All right, let's do this. Let's go for 25 likes today. That's the goal. If we get to 25 likes, we'll have a goal celebration. Subscriber target, 6440. If we get to 6440 subscribers, those are our 2 targets. All right. Okay, Jay, you're wondering, do I have a minimum risk I'm looking for? Is that what you're asking? Are you asking, do I have what does that mean? A minimum R? What do you mean? Can you just clarify what you're asking me? I don't actually know what you're asking there. I think you mean minimum risk, but I don't know what that, I still don't understand the question if that's what you mean. So let me know what you mean, and I'll try to elaborate. By the way, if you are new to the school community, definitely like check out, an intro post. It's always good for us to get to know everybody. It's all helpful stuff. Like, I want us to be, the trading community is getting so good now. It's great. Like, I'm starting to really get to know everybody better. Like, it's just, I'm really loving it. So I'm really loving the school community. Okay, so Jay, no, it's not really a minimum or maximum risk. It's more so the signal. Look, here's the thing. How do I say this? Let me think of the best way to say this. If you're new to my channel or anything I've said before, you're going to find that there is something different that I do that a lot of other traders don't do. And that is, I trade with a lot of times a negative risk reward on my scalp target, but I use runners that change the risk reward based on when I get them. So, for example, the other day I got a trade, right? Where my stop loss was, I don't know, like maybe like 16 ticks. And my first take profit on my scalp was like, I don't know, 6 ticks or 7 ticks. But then my runner got me like 7 points, right? Which is pretty, like, so that would be, whatever, 28 ticks on the runner. So that's the thing, like, it really fluctuates. The way that but the most important thing is that your stop loss goes where it's supposed to go, and you enter where you're supposed to with the momentum, and then you're protected as long as you read the market properly. So I trade with a very high win rate. That's the way that I trade. Like, I'm selective about my entries. I only take 1 to 4 trades a day, and it's rare that I even take 4. I do take it sometimes, but I max out at 4 trades. I don't take more than that. Usually I take like 2 or 3 trades. And the cool thing about it is I'm selective about those, and a lot of times I don't have a loser in my day because I'm very selective. And I manage things appropriately. I trade with the momentum. And a lot of traders, what they'll do is they'll enter on limit orders on a pullback and put their stop loss somewhere, but now you're trying to catch a falling knife. I don't do that. What I do is I enter with the momentum, and my stop loss goes below the bar that has the momentum that I'm entering with, or above the bar, depending on the direction. And then I know that I'm going to get my scalp, at least, but I might get a runner. So that's the way I do it. So, like, for example, so just so you know, I am not trading even with a 1-to-1 risk reward most of the time. You can do that with this strategy. I will say that. I tell people all the time, you can trade with a 1-to-1 risk reward or a 1-to-1.5 or whatever, but you'll have losers sometimes if you do that because you're going for too big of a target. If you trade the way that I do based on the ATR, you're going for about half the ATR for your scalp, moving your stop loss to break even and leaving a runner. And a lot of times you're going to get a runner too, and that's going to change your math considerably. So it really varies. All right, let me go back here. So Darkin, what's the minimum contract number to have a runner? 5 contracts, because you want to use the 80-20 rule. So you want to scalp at least 80% of your position and leave a maximum of 20% as a runner. So if you're trading with 5 contracts, you can scalp 4 and leave 1 as a runner. If you're trading with 6 contracts, then you can scalp 5 and leave 1 as a runner, right? You just don't want it to be more than 80% as a scalp. So like, you don't want to be trading with, like, let's say 4 contracts and scalping 3 and leaving a runner, because that would, well, it's 75%. It's close. But like, what you don't want to do is be like doing something like, all right, I'm going to trade with 3 and scalp 2 and leave a runner, because now you're only getting 66% as a scalp, and it's just not enough for how much you're going to get break even on the runner. Your math's not going to work out if you take a loss. So I find that if I'm trading with 5 contracts, I'll scalp 4, leave 1 runner. If I'm trading with 6 contracts, I'll scalp 5, leave 1 runner. If I'm trading with 7, I'll scalp 6, leave a runner. And basically, I'm not going to go to leaving 2 runners until I get to 10 contracts again. Now I can scalp 8, leave a runner of 2, right? And then if I traded with 11, I can scalp 9 contracts and leave 2 runners, right? I'm always keeping my runner 20% or less of the overall position. So hopefully that answers it. Lucid, that's really up to you. I'm not a fan of prop anyway. For the most part, I used it for a little while. I don't really like it. Mostly, I just trade with a cash account these days. That's all I'm doing, and that's how I started, and that's what I found to be the most manageable, is just trade with my cash account. So I'm not really the best guy to ask that question. So yeah, I can't really answer that. It's going to be different for everyone. It all depends on your discipline, results. There's just too many factors for me to answer that. Okay. Well, hey, welcome all of you. Welcome. Yeah, for sure, everybody, for sure. And yeah, Lucid, I'm not trying to dodge the question. I just can't answer it because it's too contingent upon most people. It's like what I always say is that the most general advice I can give is that your trading account shouldn't be more than you're willing to lose, and that's how that goes, you know? Slippage? Not very often. I think it was yesterday. Yesterday I had because I enter on stop market orders. So every once in a while I get entered like 1 tick difference. But the ES has so much volume that most of the time I just get filled exactly where I want to. Yesterday I had a trade where I got filled 1 tick higher than I was supposed to, but it didn't matter. The EMA that I'm using is the 21. This is the 21 EMA. It's built into my my indicator suite that I built for NinjaTrader. So that's the only indicator on my chart is the 21 EMA, and then I have these ATR values that just track the ATR, but that's just for me to measure the current volatility of the market. And then I have custom drawing tools and all that. Oh, you did ask a question. All right, my bad, John. Yeah, I'll take a look at that in a second. All right. No, Shidoku, I don't only take longs above the EMA and shorts below. It's contextual. The EMA is more of a factor in certain instances. So if we're in an uptrend like this, then yeah, I'm only going to take a long above the EMA. If we're in a downtrend like this, I'm only going to take shorts below the EMA, right? If we're sideways, right? Like, let's see, like sideways in this range, you can go long below the EMA and short above the EMA because you're in a range. The EMA is a minor key entry point. It's not a major key entry point. It's a minor factor in the strategy. It's not key. It's not the key to the strategy. It's just a sort of a confluence. It's like a minor key entry point and confluence. All right, John, let me see. All right, let me find your question. Hold on. Okay, failed second entries. Do you wait for it to actually... Okay, no. I don't always wait for it to fully fail. I talked about this in yesterday's call, actually. I think we talked about this in yesterday's call. I'm almost positive we did. I think that we talked about this. So let me show you. I think we had one today, didn't we? Wasn't there one on the chart? Yeah. Yeah, this is one right here. The trade I took today was one that hadn't fully, quote-unquote, failed yet, right? The actual failure is really up here, right? To some extent, right? Because here's what I'm looking at. You have this new low. You move up. It's a first entry short. Move up. It's a second entry short below this green bar, which means that for this to be a failure, everyone's stop losses are up here. So technically it has to smash through for it to really completely fail. Now, in this case, that didn't happen, but this looks like a continuation pattern in an uptrend, a second higher low, which is a failed second entry short. So I'm expecting it to run up, and it might go and hit all the way up. So when I enter a failure like this, I care a lot about the signal bar when I'm entering this style of failure. Because what could happen here is it go up and actually create a lower high that succeeds. And that's actually what it did. But I have plenty of room here. So on this type of failure, I care about the signal bar because I'm using it as a continuation in a trend pattern. Not as a key reversal pattern, as a continuation pattern in a trend. If I'm going for the type of failure where I'm running, I think it's going to run through everyone's stop losses and take off, that's different. I don't care about the signal bar as much as in those. So I hope that answers it. But that's why failures are more advanced, and that's why you probably shouldn't even be trading them most of the time until you're really good at understanding and reading it. So there's two main types of failures there. One is you're entering where other people's stop losses are. The other one is you're entering before that because you have a good signal bar showing you that you're probably going to run to those. Yes, the free trial does have... not all the courses. It has some of the courses. So I'll show you here. So when you do the free trial... I wonder if I can... Let me see. Hold on one second. Let me move this over for a second. I gotta look at something. All right, never mind. All right, so when you join on the free trial, you're going to have access to everything in the community. So you'll be able to actually go through and see all these. You'll be able to participate in the discussion, follow along with my chart updates I do throughout the session, all that stuff, everything. You're going to have access to the full calendar. You're going to be able to join all the streams that I do every day. You can join all these. You can join the school exclusive ones. You'll have access to the Start Here course and the live coaching sessions, which go all the way back. So you can go back and you can watch all those live coaching sessions. In the Start Here course, there's a bunch of stuff in here. So there's a welcome course that just kind of talks about what's going on, how to get best use of things. There's also other videos in here, and you get access to all of these. And there is a 4-hour price action course that you can watch. The 4-hour course actually has sections from the paid course. Now, this this course unlocks after your trial ends. So on basically day 8 of you being a member, you're now a paying member, and then you can do the full course. And the full course is really comprehensive. I'll show you here. Like, this is just section 8. These are all expandable, and you can see they're very comprehensive. It has a bunch of trade recordings with commentary, bunch of information. Everything is in this course. But you get a ton of stuff outside of that too. Yeah, I can't make that course available on the free trial because then, you know, I'm just going to have a bunch of people who try to join and just binge the entire course and then cancel for free, which is just not cool, right? That's the way I see it. So, but even if you tried to do that, you wouldn't be able to get enough out of it, I think, because the course is really meant to be repeated. Like, people that are in my community will tell you the best way to use it is to go through the whole course, watch the live market with me, and then go through the course again. That's how that goes. But you do have courses in there, and there's a lot of free stuff that you get. I give away a lot for free. Sudoku. Okay, so if we're trending, will I count counter trend legs and enter a first entry with the trend after a second entry failed? I'm not sure. That doesn't make sense to me. Sorry. I don't actually know what you mean. I'm sorry. I wish I did, but I don't know what you mean. If there's an example of something that happened on the chart today, just tell me and I'll look at that specifically. So if your example happened on the chart today, just tell me and I'll look. By the way, we're trying to get to 25 likes today. So if you haven't done so, hit that like button. When we get to 25, we're going to have a goal celebration. We're trying to get to 6,440 subscribers. So if we get there, we'll also have a goal celebration. So hit that like, everybody. And then Sudoku, try to ask that question again based on a specific time that happened today. Yeah, if it's a strategy or chart related question, it's always best if we have like an example on the current day so I can look at it. Or if you like have an example from yesterday, I can go to it. But, you know, obviously if it's like a trading psychology question or something, then we don't need the chart and I'll just answer it. But sometimes it's hard if to answer the question if it's a chart specific one without actually having an example. Yeah, for sure. I mean, for sure. I count on both sides, right? I count on both sides. Here, actually, you know what? Let me show you this. I'm going to hide my screen for a second and pull up a specific thing. So, when you become a full member in my... when you become a full member after your trial period ends, the other thing that so you get access to the full course, right? When your trial ends and you become a full member. You also get access to the Freedom Algo Indicator tool suite. And this is what it does. This is the second version of the indicator, right? So I have the first version, which gives you all these custom drawing tools, the custom ATRs, the take profit target, makes it so that you can zoom around with a right click. You can zoom in and out with your mouse wheel. It just makes the chart work better. But also, it gives you this leg counter, right? The leg counter tracks new highs and new lows, and then first entries and second entries. Now, it doesn't mean you should take every one of these trades, but it tracks them for you. So you can use these in a trend, right? Like, here's an example. I'm not saying I would take this, but here's a new low in an uptrend. And there's a first entry short, second entry short right here, and then it's a failure that goes higher, right? There's actually a new high here, first entry, second entry long, but it's all too tight to take a trade there. But you can be counting off the lows and the highs, and you can take those trades. And that's actually what that trade was that I talked about this morning. The one that was all the way over here. Here. This was basically like a failure. And you can see it tracked the second entry short here. So that was counting off the lows, and that was the failure that I took long. So that was counting from both sides in the trend. But yeah, this all comes with it. I don't leave this on my chart because I don't need it, but it's helpful for people as they're learning and stuff. So, I'm going to remove it from my chart now, but that's a lot of the members use that and just leave it on their charts because it really helps. Let me take it off. There we go. I just like it to be clean. And all these numbers, this is just telling me how many ticks are in the signal bar and if it's bullish, bearish, or neutral bar. Why I didn't like the second entry long, the one you draw it yellow, I can't. I'm sorry, Darkin, I don't understand what you're saying. I really don't. Are you talking about right here? Why don't I like a second entry long right here? Is that what you're saying? The yellow one looks like a solid trade. From earlier? The one, which one are we talking about here? Let me zoom out. Which one are we talking about? What timestamp on my screen are you talking about? Because the one that is over here, this was the one at 6:17 a.m. Pacific. There's this one at 7:02. Those are both second. That's not a second entry long. Sorry. Or are you talking about the one that I showed over here just now? I don't know which one you're talking about. No, the past one. I still don't know what you're talking about. Like, it doesn't. You got to give me a timestamp, or I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, yeah, like what timestamp are you talking about? It's just not. Yeah. Same with you, Love Trill. Which one are you talking about? I don't know. I can't follow. I'm trying to see what you mean, but I simply don't know what you're referring to. Here, I'll zoom out. 7:02. Okay, 7:02. This one. All right. The reason I marked this one yellow is for a few reasons. It is a close outside new low, and it is a second entry long, but you had already had a close outside of this up channel and a 2 legs to a new high. So you already got your new high on this up channel. So it already happened. So this could easily come up and reverse off the EMA and keep going lower. It's a really steep channel there, and what you don't know at the time is what if it turns into a channel that looks like this, right? What if it turns into a channel that looks like that? What if this clips up and makes a lower high and reverses down? You don't know. You're below the EMA. You already made a new high. You're not down to any sort of level to take a bounce from. So it's not perfect. That's why. It's not within a trend or anything. So you're expecting it to be a reversal, but you don't know for sure. So I don't love it. That's how I look at it. Is that what you meant too, Love Trill? Is that the trade you were talking about? Let me know. Over here, there is a second entry long here, but the problem with these is, this lower high, like, you could argue that this is a close outside, right? Same thing here, but you don't know for sure, and like, here's the problem. Like, we could easily, I would not be surprised if we actually form a trend that looks like this and we just don't. Because, like, this thing grinded up so many times and we kept making new highs. we went pretty far. So it's just risky to pick this bottom here. These are like almost like equal sized bars. I really think you need a higher low there because you're kind of catching the falling knife in some respect there. So if you took a second entry long there, it has to be a yellow. It is following the trend line rules on the short-term trend line. It is a, whoops, it is a, I didn't mean to move that. That's going to be slightly off now, but whatever. Here, see if I can fix it. It does fit the criteria, though, of being an actual second entry long. It's just that the legs are not even. This leg is way bigger than the other one. I just think it's a little risky, though. And now it does look like we might form a downtrend here. Now that this is kind of 1, 2, 3 swings and a tap there. Starting to look like a downtrend. Lucid, I don't know, years. Took me years. But that's also why I created what I did to teach it, because I created a way of teaching it that I think would help people learn it much faster than me. Because I didn't really have a mentor. Like I learned from Mac, from Pat's trading, but you know, it's not like that really, like that was hard to learn from because they're just like these daily YouTube videos that are kind of short. There's no back and forth feedback, and the stuff was, a lot of it's old, and some of it was a little bit confusing, and some of the videos, like, he draws it different than others. So it took me a while to really learn it. I had to become a chart reader. But the way that I teach it in the course, I think that most people can learn it in a couple of months with hard studying. I think for sure. It doesn't take it shouldn't take people years if they have a program like what I've created for it. Most of the people that are in my community do a really good job of starting to send me screenshots where they're drawing things properly pretty early on. $9.49. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. You can, well, it technically breaks higher there, but like this looks like a, here, we should. It's technically a visual second entry long is what that would be. So we just changed that. Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, it's what's called a visual second entry long when that happens, which is basically, this is not really a leg here. This is just like barely a tick up, you know? No, because you'd be shorting right into what was our possible uptrend line. You'd be shorting straight into it. The area that we were expecting a bounce. I thought we were going to bounce off this trend line because we had confirmed that trend line through there, kind of. It moved on me, but, you know, you get the idea. It was like somewhere like over here. Moved on me when I renamed that drawing. We thought we were going to bounce there, and you don't really have room to that trend line if you short right there. Now, if it happened higher up, then yeah, sure, it would be a decent one. It would still be a yellow arrow, but it'd be decent. It does look like we have a downtrend, so we got to respect that now. If anybody has any more questions about the school membership, drop them in the chat. I'm happy to answer whatever questions you guys got. If there's anything you're wondering about. Again, it's just a 7-day trial, so it's no, like, risk on you. But if you have questions on, like, any specifics, just feel free to drop them in. This way that we're doing this live stream right now, I do 3 of these. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the school community. And they're on Zoom, so there's actually no lag. It's in real time. And we have a little bit, it's a little bit more intimate. There's less people, obviously, than on YouTube. So, you know, we don't have the music going. It's more just like, it's more, we answer questions more about the course, specific stuff. I can pull up a lot more for that one, so it pretty much helped. I think that's a good idea, John. It helps you keep an eye on things, and it will help you learn if you do that. You can draw a short term and a wider one, and just know that the wider one's only a possibility, that sort of thing. But you can be more aware of the short term playing out and stuff like that. I think it will help you. You'll start to learn the nuance better if you draw both the really short term and then the slightly longer term. I think that it's a good idea. That's at least how I see it. All right, I got to check something real quick on my other screen. If you got questions, drop them in the chat. All right, my bad. I had to move something over. All right. Only a possibility means, yes, if you don't have the 3 swings, but also, let me show you an example. Okay, here's an example, right? This was a short-term uptrend, close outside, new high. The challenge as a price action trader is understanding if that is a channel or if the channel looks like this, right? Let me zoom in. This is a challenge because you have this up channel, close outside, new high. Now, if you drew this channel like this, you wouldn't want to take a short there because you're thinking, hey, this is maybe in play. But it's only a possibility, and you have room to that spot anyway, right? You have room down there. Probably get filled. So, but like I just know as a price action trader that this is probably how this thing played out. Just look at this candle right here. 2 legs to a new high. I like that one. But that's what I mean. Like sometimes you do have 3 swings, but it's not really a trend. Here's another one. This one, you could draw this thing. Well, no, that one doesn't have 3 swings. Let me see if I can find one. I don't know. I don't have a good one on here right now, I don't think. This one has 3 swings. No, does that one? No. I draw the wider ones sometimes as a possibility. Sometimes they have 3 swings, but the short-term stuff is actually what's playing out, and you're just making something too wide. So that is something too. Like you just have to, you learn with experience and time. There's a subjective element to trend lines and reading them properly. So you just have to be comfortable with that aspect of it. Like the reason that this works is because we become chart readers, and it can't really be replicated with algorithms because of the nuance. That's the reason that this works so well. So just be comfortable with the fact that there's a nuance to reading these trend lines. There's an art and a science to it. And see, now we have this is closing outside. So we do expect a new low on this down channel. Now this does look kind of funny because it looks like 2 legs already. But now we have a short-term uptrend, close outside, new high. So let's see what this does here. This might be an example. This actually might be a good example. Yeah, that's pretty bearish. This is looking like a nice one. So that's pretty bearish. It does close above the EMA, which I don't love that. I don't love that aspect right there because that's looking pretty aggressive, right? But that's a very bearish bar. It's a very bearish bar. So here's the thing. You have a first entry short. Now below this bar is going to be a second entry short. Right? We are expecting a new low on this down channel. There's some nuance to this though, because this does look like two big legs. Let me draw them. Like it does look like two big legs. But you can see. So this is a good instance where the lower high is the safer play. And the reason for that, if it shows up. Now it doesn't always show up. So that's the thing. Because what we were just talking about. And that's this. What if this is a channel? Right? What if this is a slightly wider channel? What if? That's what I'm trying to get at. Sometimes it's hard to detect that nuance, but you can usually as you get good at this over time, you will start to see that. Now, you don't want to always assume that there's a wider channel in play. You don't want to always assume that and then hesitate on every single trade. But look what's happening here. What I say, we close above the EMA, even though it's a really bearish bar. Not super ideal. And look, close outside, now we get two legs up. So maybe this is a channel. Maybe. And this ends up being a failure here. There you go. There's nuance to this. Now, I think you might have gotten a scalp there if you took it, but I don't think it's a safe place. I think you needed this to close much more bearish than it did, not hold above the EMA like that. Especially because we just came back to the EMA and we're closing above it aggressive there. The higher low, that would be a failure, but it's risky, right? If you take this failure, I'll mark it, but it's risky. And the reason it's risky is that you're expecting a new low to be made on this trend. Like, I wouldn't take this. I wouldn't take either one of those because you have a possible uptrend there. You also have, we need a new low on this down move. We also still need a new high up here because we broke through that big channel. So you got a lot of conflicts here, and you're kind of in the middle of the no man's land at the EMA. If you long this, you're longing straight into the high. You don't know how far it's going to go. What if it only ticks one or two ticks up and then reverses on you? You don't have any sort of room or guarantee there. So it's dangerous. Well, no, Lucid, that's why I didn't take the trade. That's why I didn't take the trade. Because I didn't, what I just explained. That's why I didn't take the trade. Because I'll take a trade on these streams if it's good enough. But that wasn't good enough for me. Now, yes, Darken, if a lower high formed here, right? So if we got a first entry, second entry short, and let's say this green bar stopped like right here, and then it closed really bearish like down here, then yeah, that would be a nice second entry short, like a lower high. And that one would have been like a red arrow, take that trade. As long as it didn't move too far, then that would be a good trade. That would have been nice, but we didn't get it. Because then you would have confirmed that there's not an uptrend, and we're probably going to get that new low. Hopefully that answers everyone's questions. We only need 5 more likes to hit our target, everybody. We're trying to get 25 likes. So hit that like button. Let's get it. I'll be right back. I got to run to the bathroom. I'll be back in a sec. I'm back. All right, we're at 21 likes. We only need 4 more likes to hit our goal of 25, and then we'll have a goal celebration. If you're new to the channel, it's always a good time when we have a goal celebration. We only need 3 more subscribers to also have a goal celebration. On Monday, we had a double goal celebration, so maybe we'll get one today. We'll see. Okay. The high or low at 10. Where's the higher? Oh. The high or low at 10. I don't know what high or low you're talking about at 10. I don't see one unless you're the high or low at 10. High or low? You mean lower high? Oh, lower. Oh, sorry. Darken. I thought you were talking about something else. Okay, my bad. No. No. This has moved too far, I think. Let me check, actually. Hold on. Before I answer, let me double check. How far did this move? It's debatable. It's debatable there, Darken, because if it already moved enough to give the scalp target, it's risky to enter it. Like, you're entering pretty far down at that point. So if you do take it, it becomes a yellow arrow trade, not a red arrow. Like, it's not a great trade, it's just an okay trade. Make sense? Three more likes to go. Can we do it? By the way, everybody, I got a video dropping tomorrow morning. Similar to the video I dropped last Saturday. Walk and talk style in the woods. Think you're gonna like it. Think you're gonna like it. This is steep. Steep. That is a steep channel. Alright, we'll see if we get this new low. Or at least an attempt. This is looking real hard to trade now because of how choppy this all is. Kind of in no man's land. So you really got to be patient at times like this. Today was just one of those days. A lot of patience on a day like today because it's moved a lot, but there's not a ton of setups. And that's just how it is sometimes. Just got to be aware of that. All right, what other questions you got for me? Drop them. Oh. Man. All right, we're cruising to the new low, which we expect this to make a new low after that move. That's the low right there that we're expecting. If we break below that, we got these levels down here maybe, but man, we'll see. Yeah, yep. So I got them here. I got all three in this series of the Al Brooks books. You can see that on the screen there. So that's smooth. That is from that. Yeah, I learned. I definitely. Those books are hard to read though. They're really hard to read. They're kind of like ridiculous. I never took his course or anything. I learned most of what I know through Mac from Pat's Trading. That's like the strategy that I learned the most from, and then Al Brooks, and then a lot of trading psychologists. And Love Trill. Oh yeah, and thanks, Mike. I'm gonna respond to you in a second too. And Love Trill. And yeah, I've checked out Thomas Wade a long time ago. And I did check him out. I would say his style didn't really jive with me that much. I don't know how else to put it. Like, there's a few things I didn't like about the way that he approached it, and there's some things I didn't agree with, but we're all going to have different perspectives, right? But he does seem like a good trader, and I think that his style works for him, so that's the important thing. So happy for him that like it works for him. But it didn't. I'd say Mac's style vibed with me the most, but I don't like the idea of only going for 1 point. So I go for about half the ATR. That's how I do my targets. So hopefully that makes sense. No, I didn't take the failed second entry. I just talked about it. I explained actually why. I'm not taking yellow arrow trades right now. I'm only going to take green arrow like good longs and red arrow good shorts. I'm not taking the yellow arrows. I'm just talking about those when they form right now. I did take a yellow arrow trade this morning that I showed a screenshot of earlier. Oh, gotcha, Mike. Yeah, so I haven't checked them out. I'm not going to, obviously. I don't need to. Because the way that I trade works for me already. So I like it. And yeah, I'm glad that you like that talk about, you know, the trading talk. I have another one coming out tomorrow. I'll give you a sneak peek at the title. The title is "This Daily Routine Will Grow You Consistently as a Day Trader." So it's more about like daily routines and habits and things that you can do. But there's also a story in there of like what I did and how I do things and stuff like that. So I think you're going to like it. The one that comes out tomorrow. I think you're going to like it. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah, that's not... Yeah, Sam, that one wasn't really a great setup. Like, I didn't like that one that much. But yeah. If you go back to earlier in the video, I go over the trades for the day. I talked about all the price action. And then I showed one of the ones I took earlier, which was way back here. I took a failed second entry short. This one, way early in the session. That was a nice one. Oops. I posted it in the school community earlier while I was trading, so everyone that's in the school community already saw it. And again, you know, just a reminder, if you guys want to check it out, go to the chat in the description. There's the school community. It's $99 a month, but I'm doing 7-day free trials. And when you get the 7-day trial, you get access to pretty much everything, with the exception of you don't get the NinjaTrader toolkit and indicators until you're a full member. And in the classroom, you don't get this price action course, but you do get the live coaching sessions. You do get all these courses in here, including the 4-hour one. And you get access to the entire calendar, and you can join the live streams that I do and the Zoom calls on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the school members. And you get all the stuff where you can follow along in real time throughout the trading session. Like this. This was the trade right here. So you can follow, you get all the chart updates and our conversation and all that. So you do get a ton out of it, even on the trial. failed second entries are more advanced. I don't think that most people should take them. They're more risky a lot of the times. That's the way I look at it. Because you could be the one getting trapped when you take them. They're just kind of risky. So, is this level going to hold here? We made a new low already. That's a triple test now. So this level could hold. It could. It's possible. Second entry long. Not a good signal bar, but it's also a triple test. All right, let's see. Anybody have any other questions or things they want to address? Because I'll probably wrap up the stream here soon. The price action is starting to slow down a bit. Go take my morning, my post analysis morning walk that I do every day. We're 2 likes short of our goal of 25. We're 2 likes short. If anybody's here and you haven't liked it yet, hit that like so we can get to our goal. Just so we can end Friday on a fun goal celebration. I think we can do it. I live in Oregon. USA, Oregon. All right, Love Trill. What do I think of first entry longs and first entries disguised as higher low or lower high? I'm not sure what you mean. If it's a first entry, I'm not usually going to take first entries unless it's a very strong trend and it's off the key entry point. They're always a little bit risky. I don't do double bar entries. If we have an equal high or an equal low, then I can use that bar. But I don't do double bar entries where like for example, if we get a second entry long with a bad signal bar, but then we have a good bullish bar next to it, I'm not taking that on a double bar setup. I don't believe that those are wise at all. So it's not for me. And this is part of where I differ from TW, right? Because I know that he'll use that stuff. I don't like that stuff. And that's like, I don't agree with it. Goal! Thanks for getting us to our goal celebration, everybody. Always fun. We got to 25 likes. That was our goal. Love Trill, is that what you're asking? Because I know, are you the one who asked me about TW? Yeah, you are. Okay, so yeah. Look, and that's the thing, like, some people think that, like, agree with that, but it's not my thing. Yeah, I just think the double bar entry thing is sketch, because here's the thing with that, right? Let's see if we can find one, actually. Let's see if we can find one. I know I saw one earlier that would have been a double bar entry. And that one's not really one, but, like, it's just that, like, let's pretend that this was a bullish bar here. This is a second entry long, so let's pretend this is a bullish bar. Well, if you enter above that, you got to put your stop loss still all the way down here. Just gnarly. Like, you end up having a way bigger risk stop loss. plus the move has kind of already happened. So part of my strategy is assuming, and that's the same thing with the lower highs and higher lows. Like when someone asked me about this one here, it's already moved pretty far, right? The low of the move here has already gone 2 points. So you're literally entering beyond where the scalp target would have already been hit on this trade. So you're entering where your take profit would have already been on the second entry short when you enter that lower high. It's risky. The move has kind of already happened. So I just don't like I only take higher lows and lower highs after second entries if the move hasn't already happened. And the double bar entry thing, the move has typically already happened. The other thing is, I am not a fan of entering on limit orders. I think you miss too many trades, right? It works sometimes, right? It works sometimes. And sometimes you get a good entry when you do it, but you miss the best setups. Like you really do. Like there's times where I get a trade where I enter on my stop order and it just, boom, goes off and it goes crazy. So good. Try downloading. You're having an issue with NinjaTrader. All right, KP. Best thing to do would be to let me know what the issue is that you're having. Like send a screenshot of it in school. Just put a screenshot of it in school so that I can take a look. And make sure that you go through the section 2.4 in depth, because I highlight almost every issue that we've ever seen happen with any of that. There has been a few issues that some people have had with just weird stuff with their version of NinjaTrader. Like one thing that happens is some people randomly have their NinjaTrader documents folder syncing to Microsoft OneDrive, and that causes issues for some people. Well, all that we know when we enter a trade, runners are a bonus, right? Runners are a bonus that's not guaranteed. When we enter the trade with the momentum of a big signal bar in our direction, the move has already started, right? So here's an example. Like, if you went long above this bar, the reason you're waiting for the signal bar to close is that the move already started, which means that this bar, which is 18 ticks, means the move has already gone 18 ticks. So we know that if we enter with the momentum, we'll probably get our scalp filled, but that's not guaranteed that we're going to get a huge trade. That's how this works. I can't really explain it much further than that. You just have to understand that we're scalpers. So we are only really guaranteeing our scalp. The runner's a bonus. So if you enter a lower high after the scalp, the amount of movement that would have filled a scalp is already filled, then it's almost like if you entered the original trade and went for double the size of your normal scalp, right? Like, let's say you're going for 6 ticks because of the ATR is, or right now the ATR is 8 ticks, so, or enough to go for 8 ticks. Let's say you're going for 8 ticks. Well, if the move has already gone 2.5 points, and then you get the higher low, and then you enter, well, it's basically like you're going for a 16-tick scalp instead of an 8-tick scalp. You're going for twice what you usually would. That make sense? Okay, yeah. So KP, just do a Google search on how to set up NinjaTrader so that it's not in OneDrive. You're gonna have to look into that. I don't have the instructions for that. NinjaTrader support can help you though. You can actually open a support ticket with them and they'll help you. Other people that have had that problem, the NinjaTrader support team fixed it for them. Sometimes you have to literally get on a screen call with them where they actually help you fix it. I don't know why this happens, but it does this. It's like this stupid thing, and everyone's computers are different. So it's not something that's wrong with the indicator. It's NinjaTrader itself. If you install it in a way where the documents folder is synced with OneDrive, it causes all kinds of problems. So, yeah, sorry I can't be more help there, but I would say reach out to NinjaTrader on it, and they will help you with it. If you still run into issues, let me know, and I'll try to put you into contact with support. Because sometimes I can reach out to the the Ninja Trader licensing team, but really you can just open a support ticket with them and they'll fix it for you. Just tell them, hey, I'm trying to install this indicator. It's causing a problem. I think it's related to Microsoft OneDrive. Can you please help me? And also tell them that you can't clear your cache, and they should be able to help you. Well, if you did that, then you're going for an even bigger target, right? If you were going for full ATR and going for 4 points and entering down here, well, that means that you're going for this target already, which means that the move is pretty far. I mean, you could do that. That's up to you. You can trade that way. You will just have a little bit of a lower win rate. You will have some losses. But I'm a scalper. I focus on scalping first. So if you want to trade like that, you can. But that's just not for me. Because I don't want to have trades where I take a loss because I went for a bigger than my scalp target. I don't want that to happen. I want to get my scalp and then get a runner sometimes. That's how I like to trade. So everybody's got a different perspective on that. Like, you can even trade this strategy going for like a 1-to-1 or whatever you want to do. You're just going to have some losses. I talked about that earlier in the stream. I still think that you're taking a bigger risk, taking like a lower high that's further away, or like a double bar entry. You're entering further away already, and you're going for an even bigger target. It's even more risky, in my opinion. You're gonna have a lower win rate doing that. But you know, if it works for you, then by all means, you know, whatever works for you and your personality that you can do, go for it. You know, go for what works for you. All right. Any other questions, anybody? No, it's all good, Love Trill. No, it just happens. People join at different times. But I did talk about it today already, so I would just say, like, after the stream you can go find it. Someone just asked me that question like seriously 10 minutes ago. It's so funny. Luke and Andy, I live in Oregon. Never heard of them, but I will say this, like, I just trade cash account, so please don't come in and shill any prop firms. If you're just asking because you're genuinely curious, that's fine, but I've never heard of it. I have a different prop firm reaching out to me every other week to try to get me to do sponsorships, and I just say no. Actually, I don't even respond. I don't even say no, I just don't respond. Okay. Hey, Luke and Andy, I appreciate that. That's great feedback. I'm glad that you learned a bunch today. I'm really glad. Again, if you want to learn more, then check out the school community that I have. Again, you can do a 7-day free trial. So whenever you're ready for it or you want to learn more, check it out. That's where you can learn everything. Now, of course, you have to become a paid member to get the full course, but the free trial has a ton of stuff in there. So I hope to see you in there at some point. And I do these streams every day, 5 days a week, every weekday. I just only do them on YouTube on Mondays and Fridays, but I do them in the school community through Zoom on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then there's no lag. It's all real time. So even if you're on the trial, you can join those. 5 days a week, fam. 5 days a week. Yeah, 5 days a week. That's what I was just saying. So right here, see it right here, 5 times per week. Says it right here. And then also, if you look at the calendar, the schedule's on the school calendar. And again, if you're on the trial, you can join all these. I also have a call once a month with people that have been in the school community for over 90 days. So that call is going to be on Thursday. And then you get access to the full classroom. You just don't get the price action course until you're a paid member. So when you're on the trial, you won't have that. But in the start here, you get a 4-hour course and a bunch of other stuff. And you get the live coaching sessions. You get all this stuff. Okay, what's the other one here? It varies. I'd say with the runner, it really varies depending on different market conditions and how you play the runner. Typically, I get a runner like 20 to 25% of the time. Something like that. It's going to be, it varies. It varies. It's going to depend on how many trades you take a day, what market conditions you're in. It really fluctuates. So. All right. Any final questions? Good. Thanks everybody for being here and hanging out with me today. I appreciate you all. Good to have a fun little Friday stream with everybody. Always a good time. I only trade this. The ES, which is the S&P 500 futures on the 2000 tick chart. That's the only thing I day trade. But I also trade other things longer term, like Bitcoin and some crypto, some stocks, that sort of thing. But for day trading, I only focus on the S&P 500 futures, which is the ES, and I look at a 2000 tick chart only. This chart that we're looking at, this is all I look at. I have day traded other things. I used to trade crude oil. I've tested NQ. I didn't like it, but yeah. I got some people in my community that trade NQ and stuff. That's how that goes. My streams are, let's see. So Mike H. Oh, cool. You're in California, so you're on the same time zone as me. So I do a stream on Mondays at 8:30 a.m. on YouTube. Fridays is at 9 a.m. on YouTube. And then my Tuesday, Wednesday stream is 8:30 for my school community on Zoom. And then Thursdays is 9. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. And then Thursday, Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific. So it's after the morning trading session is basically how it works. Because during the morning trading session, we have an active thread on school where I share all of the screenshots of the charts throughout the session, and we have a whole discussion. So the whole trading session, from like a little bit of the pre-market up until about 8:30, I'm posting, we're having a whole chat during the session, sharing screenshots, doing all that. With crypto, it follows I'm a believer of the 4-year cycle. So I don't think we have a cycle top right now, but I do think that we're going to see, if the top is not already in for this cycle, it will probably happen in the next, I'd say, month or two. And then after that, I think that we'll see a really large correction again. That's typically how it goes with crypto. We also are going into a midterm year. And typically in midterm years, we see a correction in assets like crypto. So there's that too. And it's four years after that. It's the year after the halving. It's the 4-year cycle. It's all that stuff. So yeah. But I've been trading crypto for a long time, since 2017. So I've been through bull markets and bear markets. This will be the 3rd bull market that I've been through. And I guess that would mean it's going to be the 3rd bear market I've been through too. All right. Any other questions, anybody? I'm going to wrap up here. So I'm just going to wait like 30 more seconds to see if there's any final questions, and then I'm going to call it a week. Been a great week. Hey, we got to 6440. You know what that means. Goal! Another goal. We got 2 goals. Thanks for making Friday special. Love it. Hey, listen, next week, there's no way for me to answer that. Here, if you want, I'll pull up crypto real quick. Let's look at it. I'll look at Bitcoin. I'm not going to look at, like, all crypto pairs and all that. I'm just going to look at Bitcoin. So let me pull up Bitcoin. Give me a second. Let me see. All right. Well, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet because I'm showing you crypto and you just asked about it. Wow, look at that. That is a move down. Crypto is still struggling. Look at that thing go. Daily chart is looking pretty weak. There's only 2 days left on this weekly. That could be a really rough weekly candle. So it's going to need to rally like crazy for us not to end up in a really rough position. But we'll see. The way I look at it, this is around the last halving. So let me see. I mean, we are losing some levels here, but we're back to a level of consolidation here. I'm not too concerned right now. But this is a downtrend that's in play. So on the daily chart. So it depends. I mean, we could see a rally, but it's going to need some serious momentum. I mean, it is highly possible. It is highly possible that the top is in. You know, it is possible. I still think that with crypto, we could see more, but I don't think we're going to see a new all-time high, you know? Yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't think we're going to see an all-time high next week or anything. Like, I think if it's going to happen, it's probably going to be, like, sometime in... it's going to take a few weeks, I think. I would think if it does happen and we do get a new high, then sure. But, you know, you have to consider the possibility that the all-time high has already happened this cycle. So you have to be aware of that possibility. We'll have to wait and see what happens. We'll have to wait. I still think that we're going to see another leg up to a new all-time high, but then that will probably be that. Because we haven't seen that FOMO phase really happen yet. But we have different market conditions. You know, the interest rates, quantitative tightening. There's a lot of different stuff going on right now in our conditions that we're in. So we'll see. All right, I'm going to wrap up there, everybody. I appreciate you for being here. I will see you all for the YouTube stream on Monday, and then I'll see everybody else after Monday. I'll see everybody in school. So check out the free trial. It's a good time to do it on a Friday so you can start going through all the stuff on the weekend. And there's always threads that we have open on the weekend and discussion and stuff too. So thanks, everybody, and I will see you all soon. Have an amazing weekend.